Tears sting my eyes, blurring the reality I've clung to for so long. The person standing before me isn't my brother. I loved you, I say, my voice cracking as the weight of those words crushes me. You were supposed to protect me, not break me. Leo's smile falters just for a second, but it's enough. The facade is slipping further, revealing the vulnerability underneath the manipulation. I thought I was doing what was best. I thought you'd see that eventually. I take a step back, feeling the memories of this house clinging to me like chains. Every room, every corner, a reminder of what once was. And now, they serve as the backdrop for this unraveling, this destruction. You thought wrong, I say firmly. The bitterness in my voice is sharp, cutting through the tension like a blade. You crossed a line, Leo. You didn't just control my life, you erased it. His next words come out in a rush, as though he's trying to regain control, trying to fix what's broken. Clara, you don't understand. I've always cared about you. I still do. You're my sister, my twin. But that doesn't matter, I say, cutting him off. Not anymore. You turn love into something twisted, something that suffocates, manipulates, ruins. For a moment, there's silence. A kind of silence where every unspoken word feels heavier than anything that could ever be said aloud. It's in that silence that I finally see the truth. The truth I've been running from for far too long. He was never the person I thought he was. The person I believed understood me, who shared my dreams and fears, was never real. Not the way I thought. Leo's eyes widen slightly, his expression shifting as though he's grasping the weight of the truth. But there's no plea left in him now, no manipulation, just the hollow shell of the man who tried to replace me. I loved you, he repeats softly, the words tasting bitter on his tongue. I just didn't know how to show it. I shake my head, a bitter laugh escaping me. Love isn't control. It's not about weaving a web and expecting me to live inside it. The truth is clear now. Every lie, every manipulation has led us here, at the edge of destruction. And with each breath, I feel the last remnants of that bond slipping away, leaving me free. Free to rebuild a life I can call my own. Free to heal, to move forward without the weight of his deceit holding me down. Like Clara's life is mine again, and nothing will ever take it from me. Ugh. I sat across from him, the weight of the moment heavy in the air. The cafe was crowded, but it felt like we were the only two people in the world. His confident smile had faded, replaced by something brittle, something hollow. It was the first time in years I truly saw him, not as my twin, but as the man who once controlled my life. I thought you'd never come, he said softly, his voice steady but hollow. I had to, I replied, my voice calm but firm. I can't let this go on anymore. I can't let you control my life. Leo sat there, his hands clenched around his coffee cup, his knuckles white. He had always been smooth, always calculating, but now I saw the cracks. His self-assured demeanor was just a mask, a fragile facade that couldn't withstand the truth. You're making a mistake, he said, but there was no conviction behind it, just a desperate plea, as though he knew the end was near. No, I said, shaking my head. The mistake was letting you think you had control. He leaned back, a frown tugging at his lips. You don't understand, he said quietly. I did this for us. Split-second thought for us, I scoffed. You twisted my life into something I couldn't even recognize. You destroyed what was real. A silence fell between us, heavy and suffocating. I could feel his eyes on me, searching for weakness, but there was none to be found. This wasn't about forgiveness or second chances. It was about reclaiming my identity, my freedom. I don't need you to define who I am anymore, said, standing up from my seat. You don't get to dictate my life, Leo. You lost that right a long time ago. He reached out, his voice rising slightly. Please, Clara? It's a good question, man. I mean, No, I cut him off sharply. There's nothing left to say. You've had your chance, and you failed. With those words, I walked away. The weight lifted as I left him behind, alone and powerless. The room, once suffocating, felt lighter, more open. I took a deep breath, savoring the freedom, knowing I would never look back. Rebuilding my life was no easy task. The wounds he left ran deep. Memories of lost time, moments manipulated and trust broken. But with every step forward, I felt the strength growing within me. Old friends reached out, offering a hand, reminding me of who I was before it all began. We sat in a cozy little cafe, surrounded by laughter and familiarity. They told me stories of our past, of moments that felt genuine and whole. It wasn't just about reclaiming my career or rebuilding my personal life. It was about finding myself again. "It's amazing to see you smile again," one of them said, their eyes shining with warmth. I forgot what that felt like. I admitted, a smile playing on my lips. But it's coming back, piece by piece. As I watched Leo retreat into isolation, his once commanding presence reduced to shadows of regret, I felt nothing but relief. His envy, his need to control, had unraveled him. Alone, he was left with nothing but the weight of his actions. While I stood tall, independent, and empowered, he was a hollow reminder of what could have been, a tragic fall from a pedestal he once sat on so confidently. The final chapter of my story wasn't about his downfall, it was about my ascent. I moved forward into a future where I chose my path, where I held the pin to my own life. No longer held back by his manipulation, I embraced every challenge with confidence, knowing I was stronger, freer than ever before. This knowing I was held back by his manipulation, I embraced every challenge with confidence, knowing I was stronger, freer than ever before. The shadows were gone. The deception left behind, and in its place was a renewed sense of self, a clarity that had once seemed lost. I walked into the dawn of a new day, empowered, free, and whole. I woke up in a cold sweat, my breath ragged and uneven. The nightmare was still clinging to me, every detail etched into my mind like a haunting echo. In the dream, Leo stood before me, his face twisted, his smile empty. His voice was hollow, devoid of warmth, and everything he said felt like a betrayal, one I couldn't shake off. I sat up in bed, the room a blur around me. My pulse raced, the darkness pressing in on me tighter with every passing second. I reached for the lamp, flicking it on, but it didn't bring clarity. Only more shadows. So that's when I saw a letter sitting neatly on my bedside table. It was addressed to me, from Leo, my twin. I didn't recognize the handwriting at first. It looked foreign, impersonal. My hand shook as I picked it up, fear and curiosity coiling together in my chest. Dear Clara, I don't know how to start this, so I'll just be honest. I've been living your life, posing as you. Everything, the career, the relationships, the choices, was never truly yours. I did it because I wanted to escape my own failures. You were the stable one, the one who had it all figured out. And I envied that. I thought if I could step into your world, maybe I could fix everything. But I didn't realize what I was destroying until it was too late. I read the words again and again, disbelief washing over me in waves. My twin, my closest confidant, the one person who knew everything about me, had been living my life, stealing it, piece by piece, without my knowledge. Tears burned my eyes and I let them fall, unsure if it was from anger, sadness, or something deeper I couldn't even name. My entire reality felt like it had been shattered in a single moment. Every memory, every shared experience was tainted by the weight of this revelation. How could I trust anything anymore? How could I trust him? Leo and I were inseparable once. Growing up, we shared everything. Our hopes, fears, even our dreams. He was the one who always had my back, no matter what. We were a team, a perfect balance. Or so I thought. But now, as I sat there in the dim light, those memories felt distant, warped. They didn't belong to me anymore. They belonged to a version of myself that wasn't real, created and controlled by Leo's hands. The weight of betrayal sat heavy in my chest. I clutched the letter tightly, as if holding onto it would somehow make the truth disappear. But it didn't. It was real, undeniable, and it hurt more than anything I had ever felt before. I glanced around the room. The things I thought I owned, the choices I believed were mine, were they ever? Or had they all been crafted for me by him? A knock on the door shattered the silence. I froze, my heart pounding in my ears. Clara? His voice was steady, calm, and yet it felt like a knife cutting through my thoughts. We need to talk. But there was nothing left to say, nothing that could fix this. I sank back into the bed, the letter still clutched tightly in my hands. The room felt colder now, emptier. And I knew, deep down, my life would never be the same again. I never thought it would come to this. That the person who knew me better than anyone else, the person who shared my every triumph and failure, would be the one to shatter my world into pieces. But here I am, trapped in a maze of deception and confusion, unable to find my way out. The memories are so vivid yet so distant now, flashbacks of our childhood, Leo and I, inseparable twins with a bond stronger than anything. We understood each other in a way no one else ever could. Every shared dream, every whispered secret, it was ours. Together, we were unstoppable. But that was then. And this is now. Now, Leo is in my life, yet he's not really Leo. He's a shadow, a false version of my twin, playing his part with ease, while the real him watches from a distance. He isn't just impersonating me, he's controlling everything. Clara, you don't need to stress over that meeting, Leo says confidently, leaning back in my chair as though he owns it. I've got it handled. You just focus on what matters most. Your well-being. His words are smooth, persuasive. To anyone else, he sounds like the perfect confidant. To me, it feels like a betrayal I can't shake. My friends, my colleagues, they're all drawn to him, his polished charm, his ability to present himself as the one who knows best. They don't see the cracks. They don't feel the weight of his manipulation. He's a monster while they are fragile buildings. While they are slender, I watch as they nod, hanging on his every word, and it sickens me. I want to scream at them, tell them the truth, but they wouldn't believe me, not now, not with how carefully Leo has woven his web. At night, when everyone is asleep, I sit alone in the quiet, my thoughts unraveling like a ball of yarn. Was this always who he was? Or did he become this person because he wanted to be the one in control? The hardest part is not knowing who to trust anymore. The people I once leaned on are being drawn closer to him, and with each passing day, I feel more isolated. I keep second-guessing everything, every decision I've made, every word I've said. Is my life really my own, or has it all been shaped by his desires? The silence between us now is heavier than words. When we're together, it's suffocating. There's a barrier between us, a chasm filled with unspoken accusations and doubts. Clara, he says, his voice softer this time, almost coaxing. You don't have to do this alone. Let me help you. I know what's best. And it hits me. His version of help is control. He's molding me into someone I don't recognize, someone who doubts herself, someone who fears making her own choices. I used to trust him more than anyone. But that trust is gone, eaten away by the lies and manipulation. There are moments when I wonder if I'm losing my mind. The walls of my reality are closing in, and it's getting harder to differentiate what's real from what he's crafted for me. One night, as I stare at the mirror, I barely recognize the reflection staring back at me. Who am I anymore? The girl who once stood tall, confident in her own identity, feels like a distant memory, and it terrifies me. Every smile I give, every laugh I force feels hollow. It's not mine. It's his. The only clarity I have comes in fleeting moments, when the manipulation slips through his carefully constructed facade. Those moments are fleeting, but they're enough to crack the illusion. And for the first time, I begin to see the truth, the real Leo beneath the mask, the one who used to be my twin. He isn't saving me, he's destroying me. And I won't let him do it anymore. I never imagined that it would end like this, not in this place. A house full of memories, once filled with warmth and laughter, now a cold, haunting backdrop to the darkest revelation of my life. The air is heavy, suffocating. Every breath I